Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a scary story time type of video, so the vibes are a little different. I'm Nicole Sierra, and I'm a Virgo who likes to tell scary stories. Okay, on a serious note, it really is a serious, true story, 100%. Not even making this up for clickbait at all. And honestly, we were kind of afraid to share this. It was so scary of an experience that we didn't talk about it for like 2 days. And then we discussed it. So let's go ahead and get started. Recently, a few days ago, we had an encounter, but maybe a week or so before that, I was saying how I felt like there was a presence here, but I wasn't really afraid. I just felt like it was like a good presence, and I thought maybe it was like my grandma. And I thought that because I had a psychic tell me that she was my guardian angel. So that's why I said that, because that's just what came to mind for some reason. So I told my brother that, but nothing wasn't a big deal. I don't even remember why I said it exactly. Fast forward to today is Friday night. This happened Monday, and let's go ahead and just tell the story. So we were in my room, which is in the basement, and I have my brother Nicholas and my sister Kayla, and they were both in my room, and my parents were upstairs. And we were hanging out, telling stories. We had a little bit of wine, but that was it. Like, we weren't drunk. We were completely coherent. So, Nicholas was telling a story, and as the way of my room, the setup, the door is right here to the left of us, and my bed is in the center over here. So he was standing right in front of the door, standing up telling a story, while I was sitting on the bed facing the doorway. He's telling a story, and he's, talking, laughing, and we're looking at each other, and in the middle of the story, I'm, looking at him, and you know how, if you're talking to someone and, a dog barks, so you both go like this to turn your head at the exact moment, and you, kind of look at each other, you acknowledge through your mind that, you both saw the same thing, heard the same thing, because it happened like that. And those things just don't need to be addressed. It's just regular, social skills. So, that happened. We both turned our head at the same time towards the door. And I actually don't have a door. It's just, the cutout of the door, because my dad never put the door up. So, the door is on the side. And like I said, my room is in the basement. So, it has all these walls. And then over here, there's, I guess you can say another little room where the laundry room is, and there's a carpet, and then there's flooring, tile flooring of a basement floor right on the side to walk into the room. So we both looked that way and then looked back at each other, and right away I was like, did you hear that? Because I heard something. And in that instant, from what I heard, it was unbelievable. I already knew it clear as day what I just heard, and so I'm like, did you hear that? And right away, instantly, not even without a joke, without a blink of an eye, he was like, you heard that? Because I saw that. In that second, my body literally was like, holy crap, he did not just say he saw that. Because as soon as he said he saw that, my mind put out an image of putting the sound that I heard to an image, and I was like, I can't even imagine what he just saw right now. But it was so scary that we couldn't even say anything. Right away my sister was like, what did you see? What did you hear? And I was like, stop talking about it, don't bring it up, seriously stop. And she was like, why? What's going on? What did you see? And I was like, no, Kayla, just stop. And I didn't say anything. She's like, you look so scared, you look like you're gonna cry. And I'm just like, seriously, stop, this is not something that we should be talking about right now. And I was just like, let's move on. Let's not address it. Because I was that scared. I just didn't want to give power, I guess you can say, to speaking about it even more. So the night continues. My vibe was killed after that. I was really afraid. That night, they go upstairs, they go to the rooms, I'm asleep. And I was kind of waking up, but I was still laying in my bed, and I felt like someone was right on the outside of my room, right by, there's a refrigerator out there. And I felt like someone was there, or they were in the refrigerator, or I felt like they were coming to my room. And I felt scared because right now my brother's sleeping on the couch in the basement, and I knew that, so I was like, okay, is that him? And if it is, why is he in the fridge, or why is he coming to my room? Either way, it was whoever's there shouldn't be there. So I felt afraid, but I felt so weird because I didn't know if it was him. And I kept hearing whispering or voices or something, but I couldn't make out what it was, and I felt like I honestly felt like I was going crazy. Like, I really felt like, oh my God, like, am I hearing things? I finally get the courage to get my body out of bed and go look, and he's knocked out on the couch. So I was like, I don't know why I was feeling like that. So I go back to my room, I leave the light on, stay up. It was 5 a.m. I stood up till 6 in the morning and then finally fell back asleep. The next day goes by, we still don't talk about it, we don't address it, we don't bring it up. The next day finally comes, and we watched a documentary. He was scared, and he brings up like he was scared about it, and I was like, I don't feel bad for you, because when I was scared, no one was there for me when I was freaking out at 5 a.m., blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, that night you said you didn't want to talk about it. And I was like, yeah, not that night, but now, like, I'm okay. He's like, okay, let's talk about it. So we sit down and we start talking about it, and I say, okay, this is what happened. I never even told him what I heard. I tell him, okay, when I said what I heard was, I literally heard, like, as if, like, there was an animal crawling on the floor, like, scattering, like, literally going, like, but, like, a specific way that it went. It was, like, you know, like an animal that had, like, long nails type claws and was just literally scattering and slipping on the floor, running, but, like, in an aggressive way. And it wasn't, like, it wasn't long. It was, like, for a split second, but I heard it. And it wasn't like you heard it and it went up the stairs, or you heard it and it went that way. It was like you heard it and then it disappeared. And, like, our dogs, we only have 2 dogs, and they were in the room with us sleeping. So we were, like, really scared. And so when my brother looked, so I said that, and when my brother looks at me when I finally tell him what I heard, he's like, that's exactly what I imagined. Like, what, that wasn't imagine what he's seen. He's like, what I seen is exactly what you're describing, like a small, and I described what I thought it would have looked like a small animal that had, like, claws, and I even pictured it for some reason being, like, sort of the sound that it made and the feel in the room. It sounded like it was a gremlin, like it had, like, spikes or something and was, like, built but small type of, like, creature. And so after I said that, this is what I told him, like, what did you see? And this is what he told me he saw.
And so, like I said, like, I, like, am, like, a spiritual person. I believe in spirits. I do, like, stuff like that, and, like, I'm very into that. So I see stuff a lot. And I'll see, usually I've seen only people's figures, like, shadows. But that day I was telling my story, and, like, I looked, and, like, I seen, this time it was different. Like, I seen, a shadow. It was like a round thing. It, like, kind of looked like a spike. It's almost like a fluffy dog, but like a porcupine kind of mixed together. It was just that fluffiness of the dog, but it kind of had spikes like porcupine. But I could tell it was, like, small, like, not small, but medium, probably up to my knees. And that it had legs. It had little legs. And the movement that it made was kind of like, if you ever seen a cartoon where, like, the cartoon characters, like, trying to run really fast but can't move, and that's how it was. Like, it was going like, and then it moved, like, and then it just left, and it looked like it would, like, have little claws like that. Exactly how she said. Exactly how, like, she would describe. It sounded
scrappy.
Yeah, it sounded scrappy, like in the little thing would go in like that, and then it would go, and then it moved, and, like, I didn't see it very fast. Like, it was, like, from here to here, it's probably, like, maybe 3 or 4 feet before it turned the corner, and like, the reason why I really wasn't scared is because I've seen things before. I've seen, like, human figures, but I've never seen an animal before. That's why she was really scared, and she said she wanted to talk about it because she's never really heard it. But like I said, I never hear them. I always see them, but I'll never hear it. So it's like, I guess maybe the sound maybe was scarier, but, like, yeah, definitely, like, what she described is exactly how, like, I didn't say how I saw it. When she described, like, what the sound it would make, imagining what it would look like, I said that's exactly how it looked like, kind of like a little animal.
Right, so that was, like, our experience. So that's what we talked about, and that's what we said. And, like, at first we're just like, okay, like, this is so weird. And now, mind you, I want to say it was not an animal. Like, we did not see a squirrel. We did not see a possum in our house. It was not a raccoon. Like something is not in our basement that's a rat or anything. Like, there's no animals here. Nothing ever came out and we're like, oh, it was an animal. Like, this was something that, like he mentioned, or I don't know if you mentioned, it was not, like, something that was tangible. Like, it was not a real animal.
Yeah, no.
Like, he did not, like,
it was not from this world.
Like, he's saying he's seen it, but it's not like it was, he literally saw it clear as day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So imagine, like, a shadow. Yeah, it's not from this world. Like, I can, like, and you don't have to believe me, and, like, we're just telling you just to, like, you know, show you a story, and if you're, like, interested in stuff like that, but, like, they come in different forms. Like, she said she saw our grandma, she thinks, once, and it was, like, a bright blue. But what I see is like shadows. Like I've never seen like a bright blue thing or a green thing or anything like that. They're shadows in the form of things, and this time it was an animal. Like I would know if I saw like a physical animal, and like it wasn't a dog, it wasn't like anything real.
After that, like whatever, I was like, okay, like I always tell my mom everything, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna tell my mom. And he was like, why are you gonna tell her? You're just gonna scare her. But in my opinion, I'm just like, I think we should tell everyone. And so I went to tell my mom, and she was like, you should pray, blah blah blah. She gave her advice, and she didn't say like, you're crazy, I don't believe you. Like, she believed us. And something that was like more surprising was that like we went to go tell my dad, and my dad like listened to the story, and he kind of told us that like he 100% believed us, and that he had his own experiences with like, whether you want to say spirits or like whatever it was, animals and things like that. And he went into depth. He went in depth. He went in depth. That's hard to say. He went in depth with his stories about his experiences with his siblings when they were younger at their old houses with like, he said even animals. He said he's had interactions with animals, and my grandparents would do like prayer or different spiritual practices to try to get rid of whatever it was that was in the house, and he gave explicit details as to what it was that they seen. So I felt comfort that like he said that like he believed us, and he didn't just write us off as crazy.
Yeah.
Because I believe in certain things, but it's like when it comes to scary things or negative things, like you always don't want to believe it. And like afterwards, like I felt totally fine the following days. Like I didn't feel scared anymore, but that day like I did feel weird.
I don't know, like just in like advice, like for stuff like this, if you ever have a bad experience, like what I do personally is like, when I told her to do too, is like, what I imagine is like a burst of positive energy like being blasted out of me, or like just tell it to go away, like manifest it to leave, like I only think positive thoughts. Sometimes like I believe like spirits will just like walk around, and they have like unfinished business, and they're not all necessarily like aggressive, or I've never experienced an experience with an aggressive spirit, like what you see like in movies or what's really out there, scary stuff. Those are like aggressive. Sometimes they are negative spirits, but they don't really want to attack you. They're just kind of doing their own thing. And if you light some sage, that'll let them know like, you're not welcomed here, like move on to another place, and they'll move on most of the time. Or just like, send some positive energies, or if you're religious, pray, or like ask your angels or your spirit guides or whatever to protect you, and they usually will protect you. Whatever form of religion or spiritual value you believe in, I think you should just go to that, because like it is scary. Most of the time it's your own negative thoughts manifesting into something that you're seeing.
So I don't know, what I thought about it was just kind of that like that was a one-time experience that ever happened for me at this house. During this time when I heard it and all that stuff that happened, I felt really scared. But Nicholas,
oh shit,
it's okay. This ring light actually sometimes does this, but
damn, my heart low-key dropped.
Me too.
Oh fuck.
It never has done this while I record though. It's usually when I first turn it on. Oh shit. What the fuck? I'm fucking dead. People are gonna think we're playing.
No, I swear.
I know, they're gonna think like, now I'm looking over there.
I'm looking over there too. Stay away.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that was weird. Oh my god.
You know what's crazy?
What?
Okay. So like I said, I believe that I'm psychic. And I said, like, I didn't want to say anything to freak you out, but at the beginning of the video, I said, if the fucking lights shut off, then it's still here, and it low-key doesn't want us to talk about it. Yeah. Like, I was like, what if it sends, I was like, I had a feeling.
I thought that too, just, like, if something crazy happened. But, I mean, realistically, like, the ring light does tweak out.
It does.
It does. It does turn off and on, but I don't know how many times it's done that when I did in a video, not that I ever remember, but it does do it sometimes when, like,
right before
I try to turn it on, it won't turn on, and I have to tap it a little, and then it turns on. But I don't know about during a video.
Or it could just be, like, it needs a message. I'm saying, like, sometimes they just want to reach out. And it knows that now we acknowledged it, and it's like, well, let me talk to you more, or let me reach out to you more, and you have to listen.
No, I want it to be gone.
Or leave it to be gone. Or, like, you could help it. As I'm saying, I've had an experience, too, in my own dorm room. My friend Paula, she told me that she lived in the exact same room, the exact same dorm room and everything. she told me that she would have negative energy, and that one time she'd always hear things, and like bad things would always happen to her in the beginning of the semester. And that like one time one of her roommates like dates came through, and he did not know them. He knocked on the door and he was like, "Hey, are you guys good?" And she was like, you know, she's like, "Yeah, why?" And then he was like, because like I feel some like bad energy. And he was like, I don't mean to scare you, but he's like, but I'm into like spiritual stuff and spirits, and he's like, and I feel that there's something in your room, and he's like, and I would advise you to get rid of it. And then she was like, "What the hell?" And she said she would hear like little squish, 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 squish on the edge of her bed, like a little animal. She would always wake up in the middle of the night, look, and there's nothing there. And that and eventually she saged it, and then like it stopped. And then like this semester, this year when we moved in, my roommate Alden said that he would wake up. He woke me up, or not? He woke me up. He told me one day, he was like, "Nick, I heard it. I heard the little squish, 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 squish." And like the way I do it is like I try to talk to like, or like channel the spirit, or like listen to what the spirit's doing, and I do the cards or whatever, and like I did my little incense too, and like eventually it kind of stopped making little weird noises. I don't know what it really wanted, but we kind of like just let it happen. So it's like I said, they're not always going to like attack you or whatever, but like if you feel like negative energy, then maybe something's wrong. But like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't personally feel anything right now.
Yeah, after that I think that's pretty much it. Let's wrap it up. Alright, so yeah, that was 100% true, all of our feelings. So just wanted to kind of talk and, you know, let that go into the world. And yeah, so hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you guys soon.